Did a group of fishermen capture footage of a UFO crashing down into the water to become a USO during some military drills? Or did this extraterrestrial footage not make as big of a splash as it appeared? Let's go ahead and have a closer look, because I saw multiple things that told me that this most likely is nothing of alien origin. And as usual, be sure to go and watch the whole original video, as there was much more going on there than what I could show you in that short stitched time frame. So let's start the breakdown. The first thing we see is what I assume is a bunch of fishermen pointing to the sky and screaming. And then you see footage of 2 military jets flying overhead. And then the camera pans off to the right, only to show what appears to be a UAP hovering over the water. So could that be the reason for the presence of the military in this video? Maybe. Through my still framing process, I noticed there is a smaller object that's more transparent directly below the larger object. Now this could be one of two things, perhaps an editing glitch, or maybe a second craft. And then almost as quickly as it appears in the video, this object drops, like with extreme speed. It took 0.2 seconds for this thing to drop from the sky to just above the waterline. So yes, it's moved very quickly, but please guide your attention to the positioning of the rail. If you notice, there is an extreme difference between the positioning of the rail in picture A and picture B. Now through my still framing process, I noticed there was no panning of the camera at this point. It went from point A to point B as though there was a film cut. And now let's discuss what could be the shadow of the UAP just above the water. This could be an example of that object being at the right place at the right time, because I see that shadowing all over this photograph, but that's just because the water is very choppy. And then from behind the UAP comes another object flying through the sky. Could this be another UAP? Maybe, but I think it's just another fighter jet that's flying through frame. Now let's talk about the actual water entry. The splash itself from the object is extremely convincing. You notice that it goes into the water, it sits there for a second, and then the splash comes up, similar to the effect that you would see if you throw a large rock into a river or a lake. This is easy to explain by how fluid dynamics work. As the heavier object goes into the water must refill the space, and as it collides, it splashes up. So this is actually a very convincing and well done splash. I mean, this video even has the fizzy white residue that you would see after a large object enters a fluid space, such as the ocean. What causes this is the air molecules within the water are released as the displacement of water takes place. So finally, what I want to get to that tells me that this video may not be legit is I want you to look at the horizon above the water. So what I think may be a film cut aside, the most odd thing to me in this video is why is the horizon so blurry after the object enters the water? It was pretty clear in most of the other shots, it's just when you see the object and then the object enters the water that the actual horizon becomes blurry. So is this truly a UAP? Yeah, I don't think so. So if you did watch the whole original video, you would have noticed that a helicopter flew very close to the boat and then flew off into the distance. So the helicopter was actually the key thing for me, because when that flew close to the boat and then flew off, we saw multiple fighter jets. What is to say there wasn't a second helicopter hovering in the distance? Because even though a fighter jet cannot hover, a helicopter can. And if you have a solid object, it would be easy enough to superimpose a UFO over that object. And after one superimposed the UAP over the hovering helicopter, the drop down and the splash could have been done with AI. And then there's the point of Nate. What about their reactions? It seemed very genuine. But yeah, the reaction is absolutely going to be genuine if they were out there fishing and they had no idea that there was going to be military drills that day. Wouldn't you be shocked if you were out there fishing and all of a sudden there was a ton of fighter jets and helicopters all over the place? Yeah, I think you'd be a little bit excited. So if you ask me, this was a hovering helicopter off in the distance during a military drill. They superimposed a UAP and or blurred out the object to make it appear as though it's a UAP. And as far as the movement of the object and the splash goes, that could have very easily been done with AI. But however, as always, that's my opinion. What's yours?